What's up, Womack Nostalgia? Dave here with a review of Mickey 17, the latest science fiction dark comedy film from Korean directing legend Bong Joon-ho, starring Robert Pattinson. This film has been hotly anticipated and long awaited for numerous reasons. One, of course, Bong is coming off of his greatest film, Parasite, which won Best Picture 5 years ago now. It's been a long time. And on top of that, his follow-up film, Mickey 17, was shot in 2022, finished in January 2023. They've been sitting on this movie for 2 years, and there's been a lot of concern about how this movie would eventually get to us, namely myriad release delays and even stuff independent of the strike. I mean, this was initially dated for a late January 2025 drop, which did not seem like a release date that made any sense for the next movie from Bong after Parasite. But thankfully, Warner Brothers did get behind the movie again. Early March release instead, premiering at Berlin last month, seemingly treating the movie with the respect and gravitas a Bong movie deserves. This, of course, is Bong's third English language film following Snowpiercer and Okja, and it's actually getting the widest release of those three. Snowpiercer, of course, had a limited run, and Okja, of course, was a Netflix film. I loved Mickey 17. This is another Bong Joon-ho banger. Robert Pattinson is tremendous in this movie with two distinct performances that are both very memorable. Mickey 17 is classic Bong Joon-ho. It's weird, it's unique, it's funny, it has great momentum and pace. Like many of his movies, this is very much a genre movie. It also has lots of socioeconomic and class comment, again, like a lot of his work. At the end of the day, though, this movie is just a blast. It's so fun, it moves with such verve, it's a great time. It still has the quirks and the touches of a real filmmaker behind it, and Pattinson is right at home in this world. I really just had a smile on my face almost the entire time watching the movie. Bong, of course, not new to genre at all. Think back on Snowpiercer, Okja, The Host. He does this, right? This is a sci-fi movie through and through, but has a bit of a familiar but high concept in the sense that Earth has been ruined by humans. We're leaving Earth. Some people are anyway, to form new colonies, and that's where our titular character, Mickey Barnes, played by Robert Pattinson, finds himself. Him and Steven Yeun's Timo, they're fleeing Earth because of a debt to a loan shark, and they join up with this colony on its way to a far off world, and this colony is being led by a former politician with grand ambition, Kenneth Marshall, played by Mark Ruffalo, and joined by his influential wife, played by Toni Collette. And Mickey Barnes, of course, signs up to be an expendable, this new technology where humans have their biodata downloaded and they can effectively be 3D printed when they die and then still retain all their memories and emotions and things like that. And as a result, that framework, that sci-fi concept of the expendable really sets the movie up to kind of really take off running, because you get this extended voiceover introduction from Pattinson, which is a ton of exposition explaining the sci-fi of it all. But what it allows us is to see a really entertaining montage of all the various Mickey's deaths before we come to know the current Mickey, Mickey 17. And of course, following a situation where Mickey 17 is believed to have died, out in the tundra of the new planet that they land on, he actually does survive and returns to the ship that the whole colony is still living in, and finds that they printed a new Mickey already, Mickey 18. And that's where the movie really takes off, because Mickey 17 and Mickey 18 are two very different characters. They have two different personalities. They're different dudes. And Pattinson is just flexing on us because he's really giving two distinct performances, and it's a blast. And there's a lot of great humor with it. Naomi Aki's Nasha character makes a strong impression in that regard. A headstrong soldier in the colony who links up with Mickey and has a romance with them. The movie just does a really good job of playing the two different personalities of the Mickeys well. Steven Yeun's Timo, definitely a supporting part in the film, but his character as this kind of like bully guy who always takes advantage of Mickey. It's an effective character for sure. Mark Ruffalo's Marshall, this would be populist politician leader type who clearly has a lot of like despotic and self-important dreams. He's a bit of an asshat, look at me type. I mean, it's obviously on the nose performance, very satirical, but even if you understand the reference points, I still think the character is really effective as the main antagonist of the movie. Bong, he's not usually the subtlest guy in terms of what he's trying to say, and he has a lot of similar themes across his movies, so you can kind of understand his point more often than not. But just because you grasp it doesn't mean it's not entertaining, doesn't mean it's not effective commentary. And really, the movie is quite interior. It's quite insular for the majority of Act One and Act Two when we're spending time, in and around the ship once they've landed, and beforehand, the journey in space still. And the movie, I think the production design with the interior of the ship looks really good. I mean, this movie was shot completely on the Warner Brothers lot in Livingston, and I think it looks really good. And then the movie actually really expands in the third act, where we see a lot more of the creeper characters, as they're deemed by Marshall, these alien creatures that are encountered early on by Mickey 17 when he's left for dead. Of course, that creature design, the creature aspect in the film, very reminiscent of Okja. I think the creature design very reminiscent of the Ohms in Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind, Miyazaki's first Ghibli film. But honestly, this was a movie that like I kind of just wish like Act Two went forever, because I was having such a blast with the time, with the concept, with the two Mickeys, and I think there's a lot of funny humor in this movie. There's a lot of weird quirks. There's certainly gross out moments and body humor in it for sure. But whether it's the physical comedy, whether it's just kind of great comedic timing and line readings, different characters having different point of views, taking things very serious, anything but like it's just such a blast to be with the movie. And while I do think the climax, as it gets really big, I do think it completely works and lands. I would have loved just to spend so much time in the middle. Once again, hats off to Robert Pattinson. He's just one of the best that we have right now. He continues to make the best choices, working with A-list talent on the directing side only, always doing interesting work as a performer. He seemingly can do anything. He's such a beast. And Bong, again, like the filmography speaks for itself at this point, and we know that we won't have to wait nearly as long as we did last time, a 5-year wait between Parasite and Mickey 17. We already know that Bong is halfway through an animated movie he's making right now that he says he expects to release in 2027. So I'll take a 2-year wait over a 5-year wait every time, especially when it's one of world cinema's greatest. So yeah, Mickey 17, this movie, Bong's most expensive by far, $118 million budget reportedly. It's performing both overseas in Korea, elsewhere overseas, certainly in the US. It's performing like a specialty release, even though it's an English release. Like, it's not gonna earn that money back, in the traditional business sense. But frankly, who gives a shit? Like, Bong had a blank check after Parasite and the rest of his career. Um, it's kind of funny that David Zaslav gets to hold the bag on this one, of all people. But hey, this movie's a blast. It's so good. Certainly a movie I would like to revisit in the future. I just really had a great time with it the whole time. Let me know, though, what'd you think of Mickey 17? What'd you like most about it? What do you want to see next from Robert Pattinson? Let me know. And for more movie reviews, subscribe. And I'll see you next time.